Okay, so what's currently happening in Israel? In September 2017, only 2 months ago, the Supreme Court, not the High Court in Israel said something a bit complicated. It said, on one hand, it's okay to deport forcefully refugees from Israel. They didn't call you refugees, they call you infiltrators. So the High Court said it would be okay to deport refugees, infiltrators. It also said that it would be a problem to deport them to Rwanda, which is the third country, because Rwanda has not agreed to accept people that have been deported forcefully. The Supreme Court told the state that if they change the agreement with Rwanda, then it would be fine. But since the agreement has not been changed, people can be incarcerated in Saronim only for 60 days. What happened next is that Bibi Netanyahu, met with Paul Kagame, the Prime Minister of Rwanda, and they agreed between them, they had drawn a new agreement or whatever it is, that said that it would be okay, that Rwanda will be willing to accept people that were forcefully deported from Israel. Meaning that somebody that was detained in a prison before he left, it would be okay. Rwanda will accept him. This is very bad news because it means that Israel can forcefully deport people from Israel, refugees from Israel, to Rwanda. It's important for us to talk about this as this is what Israel wants to do. But it's important for us to understand that this is not going to happen. They're not going to start picking up people in the streets, okay? They're probably going to do it through a process. Maybe the organizations can take this, can go to court with this process. But it's not something that's going to happen immediately. Somebody that the state, Israel wants him to be deported, would probably get a piece of paper notifying him that he is up there, came up on the list as somebody that it can be deported. And we'll speak in a minute about who can be deported. And it's not that Israel will give you this piece of paper and take you immediately to prison. They will not do that. They will probably give you a piece of paper to the asylum seeker and say, we summons you to leave the state within a certain amount of time. And if you refuse, we can take you to Saharonim. That first of all, that it's under a legal process, which is shit. But you can, if you receive that summons to go to Rwanda, it's important for you to go to the organizations, to ask what can be done to help you. You should not leave to the third country without consulting with the organization. It's really, really important. The other thing that's important is who is the population that is in danger to be deported, at least at this point, okay? We're not sure because the government is not telling us. There's two groups of people. It's not families and it's not women I think at this point, it's asylum seekers that filled in an RSD and have received a reject. Okay, it's really, really important. Asylum seekers that filled an RSD and the government gave them a rejection. The other group is those who did not fill in an RSD at all. These are the people, as far as I can understand and Gilad can understand, these are the people that are in the moment in danger. Remember again, it's not that they're going to pick you up from the street and send you. You want to continue something or not? אנחנו גם על חולות שזה מתקן שהם לא הולכים לסגור על 5,000.
Okay, yeah, so there was a lot of rumors and disinformation that the government published recently. So together with the deportation, the declaring about the deportation, they also published some bullshit about closing Cholot and about paying money to Rwanda. Both are completely fake, and they came to serve two main elements. For the refugees, the main element is, of course, to terrorize and create fear, as always. And for the Israeli public, they serve for several elements, mainly to confuse and to create like false discussion about totally irrelevant details. So yeah, there is no reason to discuss this bullshit. The government, as always, tries to terrorize people into risking their lives, and we know that today it's a real. There is no hope in going to Rwanda. There is nowhere to go. What we ask as before is that if you have any information about anybody that was in Israel and today is lost or is in the Sahara or in Libya or has disappeared or died or in a very difficult situation there. We need to know as much as possible if we know names or if we do not know the names, but we need to know, and we need to to try to give information about what is happening to the people that left that were deported to Rwanda, and what are the consequences of this policy.
Okay. So what's important to understand is that the situation is not a good situation. We're not very hopeful about what's happening in Israel, but we're struggling day by day. It's important for the community to try and to understand that nobody's going to be picked up in the street. Everybody has to try and think, I don't want to say relax, but I think we have to be there. The government is trying to scare us, scare you, and we have to say, okay, we're not being scared. We want to see what's the process. There's going to be some due process. It's going to happen some way legally. It's not going to happen. People are not going to be picking up from the street. We don't think families will be taken to detention centers. We're talking about two groups that they are at the moment in bigger risk than the rest. We have to think clearly. What's important? Okay, what is the most important thing is, don't make a decision to leave Israel just because you're fed up. Don't make a decision to leave Israel just because you're scared. Don't make a decision to leave Israel because you don't know what the policy is. You have an option. If Israel tells you to leave, you have to consult organizations, activists. Don't leave Israel immediately. Do not leave Israel. That has to be the main issue. We will probably see later on what the government is planning, because we know they are planning. But at the moment, we don't know. But we do know at the moment that nothing is happening right away. It might change. Maybe tomorrow they will come out with new regulations, but there's no regulations right now. The whole discussion, as Gilad said, about Cholot closing is taking you to tracking you. What's happening with Cholot, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the moment. The only thing that matters is that they want you to leave. Israel wants you to leave. We know that. They want you to leave on your own. It's much easier for you to leave on your own. So if you don't want to help the government, don't leave on your own. You should not leave on your own. You should at least take into considerations that maybe there's an option. Maybe you're not going to be deported immediately. And the other thing is, and really I can't emphasize it more, we all see the pictures coming from Libya. We know what's happening in Libya. We know how dangerous it is in Libya. You guys have to stay in Israel as long as possible. Hopefully, this policy won't happen. Hopefully, Netanyahu will not continue to be the prime minister, and hopefully not Gideon Sa'ar or all the rest of the people there will not become, come to power. So it's not like, we have now 5 years of Netanyahu in front of us. Things might change. I know Gabay has said extremely unexpected statement about his agreement, but we don't believe that he is driven as Netanyahu to deport people. So it's really, really important not to act hastily. It's really important not to leave. It's really important. We will try and update you on every new thing that's happening. Sometimes we wait a few days. Sometimes the organizations will come out with it, but we're going to wait a few days to see what's happening. So we try to figure out what's happening now, and we're trying to share with you. And we're really, really trying to share with you that you're not going to be picked up from the street and be deported, and you have to remember that, okay? You have to, and we want you to stay here, and we want you to be safe. And I know it's difficult, and I know it's difficult with the Chok HaPikadon, and I know it's difficult with a lot of people that don't have visa. All these things are very, very difficult, and I think each person has to consider what's his options. Like if he doesn't have a visa and he doesn't have work, maybe it's worthwhile waiting a little bit in Cholot, even though it's very, very difficult being there. Don't vote for the option of leaving. Please don't vote for that. It's a dead end. It's getting dead, month by month. It's getting worse there. It's getting worse there because Europe does not want people to come, does not want refugees in general. Please share with us your information. A lot of people are sharing with me the horrific pictures from Libya. I'm not happy to share them, but I believe it's important to share because I think the only chance we have is to show what happens to somebody that is being deported. Somebody that's being deported, his life is in danger, and it's really important for us to discuss this. And for the Israelis that are watching, you have to raise your voices too. You can't sit there and do like on a Facebook. You guys have to start thinking what you can do. I think each and every one of us has something that he can do to help this community, whether it's talking about this issue, whether it's, sending letters to parliament members or whoever it is, Knesset members, telling them, we as an Israeli public will not agree. We will not agree for the Israeli government to do such unlawful things. So keep us posted. If you have questions, you can ask here and we can try and answer. Please share the information. Tell people that, this is what you understand the situation is to be. And of course, remember, you're very dear to us, and we will continue standing by you and doing our best to help you struggle. טוב, אז מה השאלה ששאלת? לא קיבלת תשובה, בסדר, אז תראו, לא פשוט, בסדר? אנחנו יודעים שלא פשוט, אנחנו לא חושבים שפשוט, אנחנו יודעים שמאוד מסובך, אנחנו יודעים שממשלת ישראל עושה כל מה שהיא יכולה לעשות כדי שיהיה לכם מסובך, ואנחנו יודעים שאתם פליטים, כי אם לא הייתם פליטים לא הייתם פה, מי היה נשאר פה? יאללה. אני אוהבת אתכם מאוד 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 מאוד. אנחנו נמשיך להיאבק, בסדר? אנחנו נאבקים הלאה. תהיו חזקים, לילה טוב.
לילה טוב.
ביי. סליחה על השידור שנתקע.